Hi, welcome to Kinship. My name is Jessica Amos, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. Today, I want to talk to you about stillness and learning to practice stillness from within and embracing the stillness that surrounds us, and how by connecting with a sense of stillness, of holding still within ourselves and in the world, we begin to transform. And it seems a little counterproductive because in our culture, in our society, and you might already know this and be feeling this, we're so encouraged and conditioned to constantly be producing and producing and producing and producing. And as we look at nature, we know that nature is not always producing. The fruit tree, the blueberry bushes, the grass, the sky, the whatever, right? The sky isn't always producing rain. The fruit tree is not always producing fruit. The grass is not always green unless you water it, right? So it's this mindset of we also need time of stillness and dormancy. And I like to at least find a little bit of stillness in the life cycle of my day, of each day. So if you even were to think of the life cycle of your 24-hour day, what would it look like to take time to be in stillness, to be in dormancy, to not always be productive, to not always be striving, to not always be thinking ahead to the future or ruminating on the past, to even let your body come into stillness. I know a lot of this is what we achieve when we're sleeping at night is stillness, but what happens when we decide to engage with a more conscious level of stillness? Again, because in our society, it's not just about our output. We are bombarded with a lot of input, so much input. And when it's input, 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 input all the time, our system gets bogged down and we can't digest. We can't digest. It's like if you ate a meal and you got really full on that meal, and then you ate another meal and got really full, and your whole system would back up and you would not feel good. And I think this is something that I even struggle with social media, with scrolling, with emails, phone calls, like even the temptation to look it up on Google, right? We're constantly being bombarded with input. So what stillness gives us, by learning to be still and just take time, it allows us to digest everything we've taken in. And then we can sort out what we want to keep and what we want to let go of and what we want to focus on. But if we're constantly taking in information and we're also constantly in output, our system can never acclimate to any of it. And I know that many of you here, including myself, are here because we want to heal, we want to grow, we want to transform and shift our experience of life and of ourselves. We're here to be more compassionate with ourselves, to love ourselves, to care for ourselves more deeply, to even practice boundaries and letting go of people pleasing and being in better relationship with ourselves and others and life. So when we practice stillness, even just 5 minutes, and 5 minutes can feel like an eternity if you were to set your timer for 5 minutes and just sit for 5 minutes and notice. Your thoughts are going to be doing their thought thing. Your body, you're going to start feeling sensations in your body. You're going to notice the hum of the refrigerator or traffic outside, the tone of light and heat and coolness and whatever it is. But even if you just take 5 minutes a day to notice your thoughts, to notice how you feel in your body, to check in with your heart, to check in with what you want, to even start to tone and tune into your own intuition, listening to your own inner voice. All of this requires stillness and turning inward, really setting aside the external stimulation and the constant motion of productivity and being with what is here now. And through this, we become familiar with our minds, become familiar with our thought patterns. We don't have to get so attached to every thought that produces every emotion. We are more attuned with our emotional state, our physical state. And then as we're connecting with our intuition and our own inner guidance system, which we're born with, in which we have naturally, but we often aren't paying attention to because there's so much stimulation and movement. As we pay attention, just even for 5 minutes a day, that adds up over time and our system begins to clear out. And I found that when I first started doing this, is basically meditation, sitting silently. I'm not doing anything. I'm just allowing things to be, and I am the observer. I sit in the position of observer. And I know that in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 or however long you sit, you can then get up and start acting and taking action. But the action will feel different over time. So my invitation for you today is to talk about stillness. What is your relationship to stillness? Do you like being in stillness? Have you practiced being in stillness? How often do you practice being in stillness? And if you do practice it, what does it give you? What does it offer you? Where do you struggle with it? And if you don't, if you avoid stillness, if you don't know what to do with stillness, what's that like for you too? What would it look like to just even think about doing it? And how can we learn from one another in this space by sharing our relationship to stillness and support each other in finding that within and for ourselves? I love this conversation. I can't wait to hear how it goes. Thank you again for being here with me. May you stay with yourself today and always.